Spoilers for the TV show Silo, episodes 1, 2, and 3. We're going to have about 3.5 minutes of book talk, which I don't consider spoilery in any way. Then we're going to have another bit where it's light spoilers. I don't think it really ruins anything or gives anything up. Then there will be heavy, serious spoilers at the end. If you haven't watched this show, please drop out now. If you haven't read the books, please drop out now. The fun, the wonderfulness of this show is the crazy twists and turns and the fun of the book as well. So everybody be very, very careful on this. Also, there will be another mini rant about one change the show has made to the books, but it's not going to be as brutal as the last rant we had about episode 2. And let me say, if you love episode 3, if you love the way the story's going, your opinion's correct, go down in the comments and let us know your different take. If you want us to keep making comparison videos like this of the book of the show, and we could go more detailed, we've been very light on details so far. Once again, go down in the comments, hit the like button, let us know what you think. So we're going to move into the first part of book talk, which I consider non-spoilery. And so it's a little bit, it's a little bit about the books and how they compare. But I don't think these are really spoilers we're going to talk about. But so if you've made it this far, I think you're safe. And so we're going to start off looking at my copy of the book. And for everybody on YouTube, I'm going to hold it up right here. So I decided to see, okay, we've gone 3 episodes. How many pages in this book have we covered in 3 episodes?
Right.
And sure enough.
Well, I thought you said in the first episode was just only up to page 30.
That's exactly right. That's what it was. And so this is moving pretty slow. Game of Thrones, at least in the first season, it was moving at what felt like about 90 pages an episode, maybe more of the book that I had. This is moving real, not quite as quick. Another non-spoilery thing, but just to know, Juliette and the mayor talk much more. Juliette asks the mayor, she's like, "You want me to be sheriff?" Well, the last sheriff, Holston, he went out for a cleaning. What happened there? The mayor also asks Juliette specifically about this. Hey, I've heard reports that you stole heat tape. So there's kind of, a lot of, there's talk that you would have thought would have happened in the episode. Some of that talk did happen in the book. And the mayor and Juliette talk much more in the book. Not pages and pages, but as I'm pointing out with these 2 topics, they do talk a bit more in the book on that. What do you think about that, Catfish?
Well, I mean, I made a joke about it. I mean, if you're going to walk all that way to pitch somebody, you shouldn't be like, "Oh, okay, you said no, fine." Also, yeah, you'd want to talk with them more. Presumably the mayor's going to have to deal with the sheriff. Just because you see him in action, you don't know. They could be a jerk in person. They really did abbreviate that part of it, and it would have given us a chance to see maybe a little bit more of Juliette, who's closed off. We could get some more information from the mayor.
Well, certainly it would show you more about Juliette's thoughts. Like I said, it's right. Juliette who brings up the idea, hey, the last mayor went out for cleaning. What in the world happened there? And so you do see more of those thoughts. What's interesting, though, where they remove all of these conversations between Juliette and the mayor, fixing the generator in the book is about 4 pages of fixing the generator. And so here they really expand it and try to make it more cinematic and certainly make it an action sequence. And so that's interesting. And so for the audience members who did love this generator fix, what's funny is you're like, "Oh, that's so great. That's so thrilling." When you read it in the books, it does take about 4 pages, but you're not going to think this is an action sequence at all. It's more actually almost technical in showing you how Juliette's mind works about, how can I fix this? I can fix this if I project if I use this mirror to project a light, that way I can get things level. It's more that kind of stuff than an action moment in the show. Any thoughts on that, Catfish?
Yeah, I mean, you want me to slam the generator section again?
Oh, no.
I think I'm
okay,
clear about that.
Okay.
I mean, yeah. The first 2 episodes, they're selling us on the mystery. And this episode, they wanted to give us some action. And you know what? Some people really enjoyed it. And maybe I would have enjoyed it as well if I wasn't like, what's going on here? What does this have to do with any of the mystery box?
Okay, good point. Hopefully, listeners, you've been okay with this non-spoiler talk. This next part is, I guess, middle ground. It's not, there'll be no spoilers in this next part, but I am going to talk about why last week I had a rant, which you might have skipped out on, and why this week I'm going to have another mini rant later. And it's one of the oddities about this adaptation of this book. And that is, if you look at the events of the show and look at the events of the book, they are nearly identical. Like the events that happen, if you list out, okay, this happened, then this happened, then this happened, it's nearly identical to the events that happen in this book. What's interesting, though, is how they remove stuff. We were just talking about how they removed, Juliette asking about Holston, the mayor asking Juliette, hey, I've heard you stole the heat tape, how they remove stuff. The best way I think to describe it is to use another show. So if anybody who's listening when they should have left for spoilers hears this, it won't be too big of spoilers. Instead, I'm going to spoil Game of Thrones. That show's over 10 years old. I'm only going to spoil the first episode of Game of Thrones. But if you don't want any Game of Thrones spoilers, also hop out. So in Game of Thrones, in the very first episode, the episode ends with a child being pushed out a window about 5 stories up, and the child falling, and you think, is the child going to die? Is the child going to live? Oh my goodness, what's going to happen? Why did these people, you don't ask why. You know why these people pushed the kid out the window. The equivalent of what the showrunners on this show, Silo, are doing to the book is it's the equivalent of, well, what if instead of seeing, okay, we see Bran see something he's not supposed to see, and seeing who did it, and these people pushing him out the window because he saw the thing he wasn't supposed to see. What if the Silo runners were doing Game of Thrones? What they would have done is that they would have cut to somebody else's perspective. And suddenly they see Bran falling down. And suddenly it's a mystery like, oh, wait a minute. Did Bran, he was told not to climb? Did he try to climb again and fall and get injured? Oh, wait a minute. Maybe he was pushed. Maybe this, that. So it's more like a mystery box. And the benefits of doing a show like that is you can have some paranoia. Well, I don't know. Did he just slip and fall, or was this something worse? I don't know. This kid just pushed. And so that's what the show is doing.
Right. And the show is trying to be a mystery box, where Game of Thrones was not a mystery box.
Right. So Game of Thrones, again, you see this young child see something he's not supposed to see. You see the two people who are engaged in the activity that they don't want anybody to see. Notice that, okay, this kid is seeing us do this activity. They go up to him and they push him out the window. And so the idea would be, once again, if the Silo showrunners were doing Game of Thrones, it's like, okay, the kid suddenly fell and oh, now he's dead. Wait, what happened? Did he just slip and fall? Or was he killed? Or was he pushed? What's going on? And then maybe there's an investigation, and maybe in episode 6, you realize, wait a minute, he was pushed out the window. Why was he pushed out the window? Oh, he was pushed out the window for this reason. And so that's what they're building.
Right. But what I'm saying here is different,
but that's not the way. That's not the book. That's not this book. This book isn't like that. This book is, okay, this is happening for this reason, or this is happening like this. I don't know exactly the reason, but I can see what the person's doing. And so the show is really doing a mystery box. And for some viewers, some people, they really, really love it. For me, it is driving me crazy, because what I liked in the book is more that Game of Thrones thing. And why did I like it? Well, if you know what these two people in the tower are doing that's bad, you know why they push the kid out the window. So then there's a bunch of different dramas that happen. There's will the kid wake up and remember and tell everybody what he saw before he got pushed out of the tower? Or, oh, wait a minute, these two people, they're willing to kill a kid to keep their secret. Then every other scene you see them in, it's like, oh no, these people, you don't want to mess with them. You hate them. You have more emotion because you know what they did about them. So when you see them again, you hate them. Where if you didn't know they were responsible for pushing the kid out the window, you'd see them again and you may not like them, but you wouldn't hate them, and you wouldn't fear what they could do. And so there's just different. And so through 3 episodes, they remove these scenes that are in the book that kind of spell out exactly what happens in certain scenarios. It's a different experience. So even though the events are the same, and I'm quite sure at a certain point we'll realize, oh my goodness, this person did this to the mayor. When we see these people, again, like I said, when we see this character, maybe I should say it, again, it's not going to be like, oh, we got to be careful because of this person's willing to kill for stuff. Instead, it'll just be like, well, wait, it'll be more like a 70s kind of conspiracy thing. Is that the person I should fear? Is that the person? So once again, it's not that it's not good. Listeners, if you love it, I certainly don't want to crap on something you love. Just for me, I wanted to see this. I wanted to see it like this. And so, that's where I'm coming from on some of my rants.
Presumably not having remembered things, you think they're kind of saving these things up, but it sounds to me like what you're saying is they've got enough surprises coming up that they don't need to.
Right.
There's so many mysteries that like there's no reason for them to be saving them up.
That's my opinion on it.
Okay.
In my opinion, by saving them up, they're almost weakening the moment of, oh my goodness, this person's willing to do this for this reason. And so let's get into full spoilers. We're not going to talk about exactly what happened to the mayor, but we are going to talk a little bit more detail about things. And Catfish, I think you'll be safe because I don't want to spoil you either. We had feedback.
I don't want to be spoiled.
We had a bit of feedback on my rant last week. Once again, you don't have to agree with me. I'm not trying to convince anybody to agree with me. I'm just letting you know my opinion so everybody's clear on it. Endless Mike at Endless Mike03 just said, great rant, Bubba. I agree with you 100%. 100%.
This is where Mike and I got into it. But you know what I'll say in my defense?
What?
All the people who might agree with me didn't listen to the spoilers.
Yeah, no, that's 100% true, Catfish. We had this comment on YouTube from somebody with the handle 1D Forever who wrote, that is 100% correct, Bubba. Thank you so much. 100D Forever went even further, and he said, in just watching the episode, you think that there's a 65 to 75% chance the sheriff and his wife are probably alive and the silo is a scam. While the book sets up a really dire situation. You're in an oppressive society where if the wrong people dislike you, you're going to be sent out to the toxic death. So that's just, once again, it's a different thing. He said that mystery is, in his opinion, is too big to be mishandled. I went out and read the book immediately after that watching the episode. I read the book and was perplexed why they made it a mystery. It undercuts the rest of the series until another cleaning is needed. Well, let me say, once again, they're trying to make a different show, or they're trying to tell the same story differently, so it's a mystery box. So they're achieving what they want to achieve. It's just that goal was never a goal of the book. He said Catfish's point about the book show differences. I didn't read this. He said it's not valid here because the series is based on a dystopian environment and it's a big deal. Well, I once again, if they're making a mystery box show, I think, in my opinion, I'm cutting you off 1D forever. I think the show is fun. He said this would be as if GOT only showed Jamie seeing Bran and it being confirmed 5 episodes later that he's crippled. Oh, this person wrote exactly what I thought. So he goes, I think this will turn viewers off. I don't think so. It's just, once again, it's a different way into it. He said, please keep making these rants or spoiler book companions. Okay, ID4, I will. Our final bit of feedback, Catfish, do you want to read from Laura McMillian?
Yeah, Laura says, hello, gentlemen. I'm thoroughly enjoying the podcast. I listened to the spoiler at the end, and it was really more of an explanation than spoiler. Well, after listening to Bubba's little rant about the missing scene from Holston's going out, I remember the scene from episode 1 when Allison and George saw the cleaning video from the hard drive. It was the same thing Holston saw, even the bird formation. I had thought at the time that it was a video of what someone saw when they went out, but instead seems to be what is shown to them before they die. That's why everyone cleans. They want others to see the same thing. So that scene from episode 1 was very short and somewhat understated, but very important.
Okay.
I agree with Catfish that maybe we'll revisit the moment when the sheriff goes out, realizing what he actually sees when he removes his helmet. I look forward to the next episode of your next podcast. Thank you for all the fun. Laura, neither of us got what we wanted. I forgot, in fact, that I'd made that prediction and that I was once again wrong.
So once again, these are book spoilers. Everybody out. And I've already kind of said it, so I'll have to edit that out of the earlier point. I had a long rant because Holston cleaning was my favorite moment from the book, and they just turned it into a puzzle, which you can't solve, as Laura's email just said, but it's like, why do you have to solve it? In the book, it's not something to solve. It just tells you exactly what happens. And so I was so angry about that. And I mentioned how it was a short story and it ended on this gut punch and everybody loved the gut punch. So he wrote another short story. Well, guess what? He wrote another short story, not titled Wool, but this one titled Proper Gauge. And guess what the gut punch of it is? The gut punch of it is Mayor Jahns gets murdered. But the trick about it is in the story, you know exactly who wanted Mayor Jahns dead, how they killed Mayor Jahns, and therefore in future scenes, you're like, oh no, this person's a killer. Watch out. Oh my goodness. And so what do they want a puzzle box. Once again, they want the puzzle box. The book isn't a puzzle box. I mean, the book has a lot of mysteries, but as Catfish just said a second ago, they kind of come at a pretty good pace, almost every 40 pages. Okay, here's a mystery, but here's one answer to it. Here's one answer to it. And so it is really, really driving me crazy. And the way I keep saying it is that the show is, wait, what just happened? Whoa, that's weird. What just happened? The book isn't what just happened. The book is, oh, snap, that just happened. Oh, snap, they tricked Holston and he's dead. Oh, snap, this person just killed the mayor. Oh, like, it's just different. And so it's frustrating, and yet people like it. So who's to say? The final thing I want to say is that when you do it this way, though, you open yourself up to crazy interpretations. So there's this blogger who blogs about the episode, and he wrote a blog about episode 3, and Hugh Howey retweeted it. He loved it so much. And so the blogger has these comments in their blog. They wrote, Sheriff Holston and his wife Allison are now either dead or alive outside. Either or, who knows? Then he says, okay, there's a big shocker at the end of episode 3. Mayor Jahns is dying or dead. And she apparently knew she was dying, and that's why she excused herself to the bathroom and asked Marnes to choose a dusty body of wine. At least I think so. But if she knew she was dying, how long did she know that? And was she dying because someone poisoned her and she knew that? What? So
I'm with you, Bubba. This makes no sense. And I'm also with you okay, so they're trying to make like you said, the mystery box show, like kind of a Lost thing, except they know they're going to have answers to these questions because they're following the books. Right. But it's funny because even though I'm in the position of sort of defending the show I'm watching, since I don't remember the book, I will say, that my hesitation watching the show originally, as I said in episode 1, was I got to watch this whole show to come up with one big mystery at the end. And so actually I would enjoy seeing what you're describing more than what I'm seeing.
Well, at least based on episode 3. You were really high on episode 2. So, there is a
yeah.
There are two different takes.
But in other words, I still could have enjoyed the episode knowing what was going on. I could have enjoyed the episode more. Just because it's a mystery doesn't mean I would have enjoyed it more. As I said, I'm a little kind of over that.
Well, episode 4 is titled Truth, the thing scratched into Holston's badge. So what we're going to hope is that some of this truth, which we've given you in spoilers, Catfish, we spoiled that the mayor was murdered. Is that a big spoiler for you?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. That's not really a spoiler. Bubba, I'm going to ask you this. When do you think the next episode will be where they're going to mess up something else that you're going to be upset about?
Oh, my goodness. I don't know.
Is it going to be episode 5, episode 6?
I don't know. So we're going to
That's
see. That's
going to be my next guess. What's going to cause when will the next rant happen?
Right. We're going to see. Now, let me say that I said that these twists come at about every 40 pages. We're actually entering a bit where the book goes more into some of the stuff the show has already done, trying to, the book moves at such a quick pace that some of this fleshing out of the silo really doesn't happen until this third short story that we're about to get to. So the real trick of it, in listeners, this is a spoiler. In episode 1 of our podcast, I mentioned to Catfish that they're not going to go to the end of this novel. They're only going to go to, somewhere about, 80 to 75% of the novel. Over 10 episodes, they're only going to get to 75% of the novel. And what is shocking in the novel is it reaches a point which you think, boy, shouldn't this be happening at the end? But it's only at the 75% part. And then the final 25% of this novel is moving so quick. It's going so crazy. You're like, oh, wait a minute. Oh my God, I can't believe this. And so to me, if they had done the novel across 10 episodes, it would really make sense. It'd be like, oh my Lord, like there would be fireworks factory from episode 7 on, maybe episode 6 on, because so much craziness happens. But no, that big firework that happens about 75% of the way through the book. From the interviews, it really feels like that's happening in episode 10. And so it's like, oh, well, we'll see. We don't know, but it feels like, oh, they're literally having that episode 10. Where once again, in the book, you read it and you're like, shouldn't this be happening at the end? And it doesn't. But it feels like the showrunners thought, no, okay, we'll make it the end of season 1 because they have a 4-season plan.
Damn. All right, Bubba. You know what I really look forward to?
Yeah, let's hear.
even though I think I'm coming around to agree with you, I still enjoy the fact that it's driving you crazy.
It is.
It's not really driving me crazy. I'm enjoying it every
it's
second of
driving
it.
me so crazy. But hey, as long as listeners, you love it, who cares? And of course, listeners, you love the book. If you're watching this spoiler section, let me know. Are you happy with the adaptation? At PHQ on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.com/PHQ. I can't wait to talk to you.
Personally, Bubba, this is my kind of entertainment, and I will not unsubscribe.
Thank goodness. My name's Bubba. You can find me on Twitter at FittenTrim. That's FITTENTRIM at FittenTrim on Twitter.
And I'm Catfish. You can hit me up at CJGman67 on Twitter. And we will talk to you next week on The
Cleaning. It's like, how long are you going to drag it out?
On and then beat 1, 2, 3. The Cleaning.
No.
I don't know.
The Cleaning is 3 syllables, right? The Cleaning.
The Cleaning.
The Cleaning. All right.
So
you ready? We'll hear you next time on
The Cleaning.
Okay, we got the ing. Let's stop. Let's quit while we're behind.
It's not how many syllables it is.
We're not qualified for this. We're not qualified for this. Okay,
no, completely unqualified. Completely unqualified.